Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. My name's Connor Williams, and this is another one of our end of season player reviews. This time it is on none other than James Tarkowski. Going through Tarkowski, who's had a great season for us. This is the first season since he's joined us that he's not been able to play every game and get the max amounts. He got his injury, his hamstring injury, which stopped him. Still played 34 games for us and managed to accumulate 2,924 minutes, which is fantastic. Starting all three of the 33 games he's played in for us in the Premier League. Again, fantastic that is. Um, in terms of his actual stats, he's got one assist and one goal, and the goal is a fantastic goal. An XG of 1.31. And with one goal, it's about fair. Expected assists 2.35, and he's only got one. Again, though, he's a defender, so I'm not expecting him to be fantastic at assists. He's created 16 chances, though, which, if you're going to do that per 90, is 0.49 chances a game. Five successful dribbles, 28 fouls won. But here's the meat and two veg, which is defensive. 40 tackles won this season, 199 duels won. He wins 68.4% of his duels, 103 aerial duels won, 74.6% of his aerial duels he wins, 41 interceptions, 4 blocks, 98 recoveries. He's won possession in the final third 4 times, but he has been dribbled past 15 times, unfortunately. Yeah, I just think Tarkowski's a fantastic player for us. He's been a fantastic buy for the price, for free transfer. He's come in and he's played the max amount of minutes for the last 2 seasons and played 34 games this season in all competitions for us. I know he had a bit of a rough patch and he has had rough patches this year, but he seems to, towards the end, he got back on top and sort of started to perform well again. He did have some stinkers. The Tottenham Hotspur game early on in the season wasn't great. The Manchester United 4-0 defeat wasn't great either. Villa game he wasn't great in, but he did have some other good games. He's been consistent. The Liverpool game he's fantastic in. Overall, not just a goal. He was great against Leicester, great against Brentford. Yeah, really, really good player. His moment of the season or highlight of the season, I think we all know what I'm going to say. It would be mental if I said it wasn't the Derby goal. Just fantastic. The fact that he was doing his interview with Phil Jagielka in that two after the 2-2 draw, and he was saying about, you know, Derby goals scored by centre backs, and he said Jags has it. Still, Tarkowski gave Jagielka a really good run for his money though with that goal, especially with it being in like the 98th minute of the game as well. It's absolutely fantastic to see. It was an incredible goal as well, really good, thunderous volley to knock it straight into the top of the roof of the net. Yeah, just a fantastic goal. Really great game as well. People were up for it. Scenes afterwards, Decore managing to get himself a red card for celebrating in front of the Liverpool fans. It was one of those for the last ever derby at Goodison Park. It equalled it all out as well in terms of wins at Goodison, losses at Goodison against Liverpool, and draws. It was really poetic. It was a poetic way to end it, and that's because of James Tarkowski. I think we'd have all loved to get a win in our last derby, but we definitely didn't want to lose it, and that goal stopped us from losing it. So really, really highlight of the season, hands down, easily. He might be the easiest highlight of the season for me to pick because it's just an obvious one. Rating for the season, I'm going to give Tarkowski a 7.5. I think he turned it round towards the end of the season, but he did have patches where it was a bit rough at times. Everyone seems to think that O'Brien is going to replace him next year. I wouldn't be too sure about that. Next season, I think we'll still see him in the Everton lineup. It'd be nice to get O'Brien in a little bit more alongside Branthwaite because that seems to be the centre back building for the future. But realistically, as long as Tarkowski's legs are still going, I think he'll be in that team. I think he's a great leader. I think he's vital from set pieces, especially when we were under Sean Dyche. What we'd do is we'd whip it in swinger into the far, into the back to Tarkowski, who would then header it across goal towards the 6-yard box where Decore, somebody would, pick up the last touch, the last head to knock it past the keeper. Um, that's where he'd be getting his assists from. He didn't have as many this year. Last year, though, I bet if I looked at his assists, he'd have a lot more assists or expected assists last year because of that. So yeah, fantastic centre back who I think will still be in the Everton squad. I think we will start to phase him out ever so slightly, but don't expect him to not be in that, to be a bit part player. I still think he'll be out of him and O'Brien. I still think David Moyes will probably have him play the predominant amount of games compared to O'Brien at centre back. But yeah, fantastic player. 7.5 out of 10. Hope to see more of him next year. I think he's in this modern day Everton where we have splurged money up the walls under Nashiri in the early days, and then had to be a lot more fiscal about what we do now and a lot more shrewd in our business. I think picking up James Tarkowski has been one of the best bits of business for us, certainly in the last 10 years, from what we've got out of him, the amount of game time we've got out of him. We bought him when he was like 29, 30, and I don't think people expected him to play the amount of games he has, and long may that continue. But yeah, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and comment down below your thoughts. Give me your rating for James Tarkowski out of 10 for the season. I look forward to reading them, and I'll see you guys very soon.